expel it from my lungs.
I mean, is it, do you feel like you're being productive?
My coughs are indeed productive. One night I coughed and I was quite productive into the air and it landed back on my face and it was gross
Yeah. Yeah, that'll get you.
every time.
Got the pneumonia.
Yes.
My mama used to say, open the window and influenza. Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of All the Best Words. My name is Matt Murphy, and I say all the best words.
My name's Cameron Smith. I write all the best words.
And here's the intro to All the Best Words.
I know words. I have the best words.
This is All the Best Words with Matt Murphy and Cameron Smith.
I like it. I think it's solid. I think one of these days, we should do the show sitting right next to one another.
But not looking at each other.
Right, looking off to the distance to these fine folks. This is All the Best Words. This is the podcast where Cameron brings a word and I bring a word, and we don't really know what words we're bringing, and we talk about those words once we bring them. We would love it if you liked and subscribed.
Yes, please do.
Give us the old thumbs up and tell friends and neighbors, hey, I saw this awesome podcast. It's low impact. It's about 12, 13 minutes of my time, and I thought it was fabulous, and I binge watched the whole thing.
Yes, but we will never be like Jeb Bush and say, please clap.
Although I wouldn't mind it if you gave us the old thumbs up. Which
That's fine.
I guess that's kind of a similar thing. All right, rock, paper, scissors as to who goes first. Ready?
I just love you. Why don't you go first?
My word today, Cameron, is smokes. Smokes. As in, holy smokes.
My favorite barbecue joint.
Well, that's a good barbecue joint. And you could go a lot of different directions with smokes. You could talk about all the smoking that's going on in the United States of America with marijuana or whatnot. You could talk about cigarettes. But I'm talking about the white and or black smoke that we are expected to see. We've not seen smoke at the time that you and I are sitting here in this conversation. But by the time people watch it, maybe there's been smoke. White or black smoke. I love this time where suddenly the mainstream media becomes interested in religion again. Don't you?
I find it fascinating that it is an oppressive, tyrannical force for all of humanity, but this is very important for the media to cover now.
So the media has a little bit of a love affair. They had a little bit of a love affair going on with Pope Francis, right?
Sure.
Because Pope Francis, he was a different kind of guy. He was a Jesuit. He was considered to be more of a liberal-minded pope.
Sure.
And that's all well and good. I don't dive deep into it. Full disclosure, I'm not Catholic. So it's all surface level to me until we get to the process of the conclave. Now, add a couple of things to this. One, the media obsessed over this when Benedict left. He didn't die. Benedict quit. Catholics love it when I say it this way, by the way. Yeah, your pope quit. He quit. He said, nah, I don't want to be pope anymore, which apparently you can do.
Poping's hard.
Poping ain't easy, as they say. So there was that when Francis became the pope. Before then, but if you think about it, we've only had, in our lifetimes, we've only had 3 or, I guess, 4 popes in my lifetime. When were you born?
82.
82. There's only been 3 popes in your lifetime, 4 popes in my lifetime. I guess that would make it 5 popes because one pope only lasted about a month.
Yeah, I'm a JP2 pope guy.
You're a JP2. And see, I guess I got JP1, which was the month guy. And then whoever was pope, I guess it was Pope Paul or John. I think it was Paul. Anyway, one way or the other, there haven't been many of these in our lifetime. So some of the process is very intriguing. I admit that any time that you have a process that's been going on for, the better part of 1,000 years, and that process hasn't really changed in the last 800 years, and it's also kind of secretive, there's a little bit of fascination that goes on with that. But I also love that now that Conclave has come out, everybody that's seen that movie thinks they're an expert on how they
well, yeah, that's how social media works, Matt. You see one thing and you know all the things. Yeah, that's just where we are in this moment in time. I just can't get over the notion of, not just Catholicism, but the media's approach that all religion is bigotry. That if you have an unflinching view about who God is, what you believe, that's unacceptable and this is bad. Yet, It's one of my guilty pleasures is watching media types speak uncomfortably and sort of glowingly about religion that they do not personally adhere to and aren't really sure they even like, but it's really intriguing. And my point is, yes, it's interesting. Let's do this, but let's be consistent. If you're going to blast the institutions and say that they are awful, do it all the time.
Yeah.
So when we're waiting for the smoke to come out, why don't you just throw in, well, actually, we are very pro-choice. We love abortion. And these guys, they don't.
They don't care for it.
And so they're the bad guy. These are our enemies, is the people that believe this. And just say it like that. Because if that's where you really are, be consistent rather than saying, well, the smoke is quite interesting.
I'm ready for the conversation about the lack of female priests in Catholicism again, because it came up briefly about a decade ago or so, and I think this is when the Lutheran Church or the Episcopalians, I get them mixed up, and I don't want to insult anybody, but when as they consider allowing females to be leaders within the church hierarchy and structure, the Catholic Church has been pretty clear. Our females, if you want to serve in any leadership role or capacity, there's the nunship. You can do all of those types of things. You can't be a priest. I'm just waiting for that. I've not seen a lot of it so far. I did see a little bit of the, will we get an African pope?
Sure.
And I don't think they meant African as in skin color. I think they meant African like the continent of Africa. Typically, your popes come from where, Cameron?
Europe.
Italy, more specifically. Which would make sense, right? Rome, Catholic Church, yada, yada, yada. But there have been some outliers. You know where there's never been a pope from?
Africa.
Or the United States of America, for that matter.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth, I'm interested. I'm also interested how we moved away from when I was a kid, I was fascinated with the infallibility of the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pope couldn't do anything or say anything wrong,
Right.
technically. And we kind of moved away from that over the years. I'd like to see a world where we get back to that, where the Pope can do whatever the Pope wants.
Well, as a Protestant, I wholeheartly reject that. So, as heretical. So, I mean, and that's the interesting thing about all of these discussions is those of us who aren't atheists, who are not agnostics, have beliefs about who God is, the right way to heaven, the consequences of sin, like all of these things, and we disagree. And it's really important to have those discussions, to be open about it. I think it's really important to be consistent when we have these discussions and not to sort of just gloss over it because, for example, the Catholic Church's positions on things are not just, here's how we feel. They are, here's what we believe based in Scripture, here's what we have thought over time, and these are considered thoughtful positions that don't typically respond to the emotions of the moment. And for the media and the culture, sometimes that's a clash between religion and the on-demand culture. And regardless of what color that smoke is, we're still going to have that clash.
The Pope can name himself anything the Pope wants to name himself.
What if the Pope named himself Donald Trump?
Pope Trump.
Pope Trump.
Oh, and that was a fun freak out too, as an aside.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because my word has to do with the thing that generated that image of Donald Trump as the Pope.
And your word is, sir?
AGENTIC.
Say again, sir?
AGENTIC.
God bless you.
Exactly.
Are you sneezing?
So,
well, hey, hold on a second. We're double digits deep into all the best words, and I think you finally picked a word where I literally don't know what that word means. One more time for those in the back. AGENTIC.
Yes, and this word that you, and frankly, most of our listeners don't know about will have more of an impact on them than any word we've used so far.
All right. Talk to me.
AGENTIC AI is coming. 6 months, a year and a half. Right now, we're with large language model. It's basically a Mad Libs that's getting better and better at filling in the blank. It's a probabilities machine, an algorithm that's saying, here's what we think the thing is that you want based on what you put in.
Mm-hmm.
Those are getting more and more sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
The next step is AGENTIC AI. AGENTIC AI or agential, there's a bunch of different words for it. Agent AI is an AI that can essentially serve as your agent. So I need you to go establish an LLC for me. Well, it's not going to just give me the list of steps. It's going to do them for me. So it will file with the Secretary of State. It will develop the operating agreement. It will send me a request for my signatures, and it will file and do literally everything for the thing that I need to do. Any sort of administrative task that you would need to take on, AGENTIC AI can do it for you. And it will come at a cost that's incredibly low, because what we're seeing is the commoditization of AI at the same time. There's nobody that just has an anchor here and says, we own all of it, you must come to us. It is proliferating at a scale that we can't even keep up with. That's why people haven't heard of my word. And it will change everything. And we're in a situation where our political class is at a stalemate, really. Yes, Republicans are in charge right now, but we'll see splits. We've seen this for the last little bit. So we don't have a political climate that can really agree to anything. And yet we have the biggest transformative technology maybe in all of human history. Like, you can point to some of them, like the cotton gin, industrial evolution. The wheel. Like, we know what they are, but this one is real, and it's happening super fast. And our political class, frankly, doesn't know enough to even begin to regulate it.
So allow my simple, publicly educated brain to wrap my head around this. So you're suggesting that right now, AI is largely an informational-based system.
Yes, large language model.
And what this will do is turn that into a performance-based system.
Yes.
Meaning, not only can I say, hey, how do I do this? I can say, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Yes.
And it will perform it. So that opens up this. At what point along the way do we give that artificial intelligence the ability to make decisions on its own based on how well it knows us, right? In other words, I'm not really positive which direction to go here. There's a decision point, but based on how well I know my guy that I'm assisting, Cameron Smith, I'm going to make this decision. At that point, it becomes a little bit nervy for me.
Matt, that point is here, and it is radically coming upon us, because here's a good example for somebody that writes all the best words. You know, one of the parts about writing all the best words you have to be careful with is you got to have a good editor, right?
Mm-hmm.
My editor currently is an AI that trains on everything I've ever written, and it knows my personality. I talk to it, and when I say talk to it, I input and say, here's my style, here's my preferences, here's all things being equal where I'm going to fall out on an issue. I like to be very reasonable and pragmatic. And those who have listened to me on the air and know me, no, that's about who I am. That is programmed. And then I write a column, run it through my AI editor, and it catches everything and will even comment to me about inconsistencies with myself. That's where we are.
Well, I mean, how far away are we? And you're much more in tune with this world than I will probably ever be. How far away are we from just giving some of these computer systems the opportunity just to make large decisions for ourselves? I mean, I guess 5 years.
We are 5 years. Again, all these things can change. The biggest barrier is going to be power, the computational requirements, the energy hogs that they are.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a very
small modular nuke. Thank you.
Yeah, you could see a situation where the barrier is not the technology, the barrier is the available power. Mm-hmm. But we're 5 or 6 years away. You know, I never read a bunch of different analysis from a super intelligence that, check this out, has the ability to make decisions independently, develop itself, and has the sum total of all knowledge of all humans at its disposal.
Is that not consciousness?
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's awareness, right? But how do you prove awareness at that point?
Right. I mean, we're starting to get into what we thought was science fiction as kids. We've all seen Terminator. We know Cyberdyne. We understand that could be really bad, right? If you have basically a God mode intelligence that knows all of these things. And the reason that I picked the word agentic is we need to start learning about this. We need to make sure that we're paying attention to this, because folks who aren't paying attention, who are still looking back and saying, historically, here's what's worked. These are the jobs. These are the trainings. This is the education. It's all going to get thrown out the window. And so what we are doing right now, today, in something like, for example, public education, will be radically different in 4 or 5 years.
I knew Mr. Henderson was full of it when he told me, well, you're not going to have a computer in your pocket to do that math problem for you. Ha! Shows you, Mr. Henderson.
And we do.
You know, after that scary word and conversation, I'm going to go out and buy a pack of smokes.
Well, smoke them while you got them.
Thank you for joining us on All the Best Words. He's Cameron Smith.
This is Matt Murphy.
And join us next time on All the Best Words. Do that, will you?